Let's hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Puck It with Jo. Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday, June 17th. It's time for Puck It with Jo over here on SportsGrid, on SportsGrid TV, on X, as well as YouTube. You guys, we have game number 6 tonight. The Florida Panthers looking to become the 10th team in franchise history to repeat cups. We know they hoisted it last year in 7 in their home arena over the Edmonton Oilers, and the last team who was able to do that was the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa did the repeat back in 2020, 2021. And the team before that was the Pittsburgh Penguins in 2016, 2017. So will the Florida Panthers be able to hoist that cup tonight, get that repeat, or will we see the Edmonton Oilers get the game 6 win, push it to number 7, and then hoist the cup in Edmonton for game number 7? Now, you guys know, rolling into this series, I did take the Edmonton Oilers to win in game number 7. That was coming in at minus 118 for them to win the cup. I also took them to win at 4-3 at plus 400. I don't think those bets are cashing now. I really do look at the Florida Panthers and I look at this team, how they played in the last game, and I know the resilience of the Edmonton Oilers, how they've been able to bounce back. But I'm afraid this will be our last show of the season here for Puck It with Jo, with us not starting back till next season, October 7th, 2025. We will have a long wait. It's June 17th, October 7th. That's a heck of a long time until we'll get Puck It with Jo back, because we won't do the preseason. We'll start off with the regular season next season coming up. So I do think this will be our last one. I want a game 7 as well. If we go to game 7, I will be going to the game. I think my chances are very slim at doing so. So Matt, happy Tuesday to you. Yes, it will be coming back in October for sure. You guys know I couldn't talk pucks with you on the daily during the hockey season. It would just be absolutely bizarre. Chris, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a long NHL season, and I really would love in my heart to see us go to number 7, but I just don't think we're going to get there. So let's attack how we're going to bet this. We know the Florida Panthers are juicy on that money line. They're coming in at a minus 150 favorite currently on FanDuel. You look at the Edmonton Oilers, they're coming in at plus 125. If you do have faith in this team, you're getting great plus money. This team still has Connor McDavid, who did score in that last game, Leon Draisaitl as well, but I just don't know if Edmonton has what it takes. We look at the Edmonton Oilers and the change up in those lines, and it's just consistently moving in those lines. Now, we talked about the last game. Connor Brown was put up on that right wing instead of Corey Perry. Well, now they've shifted it back to Corey Perry up on that top line with Connor McDavid and Ryan Nugent Hopkins. The inconsistencies, the movements out there, it just makes me shake my head. Connor Brown has been sent down to that 4th line with Janmark. So I just think, without the consistency and with 2 goaltenders, who do they have faith in? They should have gone to Skinner in that last game. Yes, Calvin Pickard rolling into that one was 7-0 in the playoffs. His save percentage was still below 900. He is your backup goaltender. So to go to a backup goaltender, and I know Skinner hasn't been great, but these losses haven't been all on the back of Stuart Skinner. It's been the lack of defense out there, and Edmonton loves to talk about their defense is actually strong. And yes, it has been great, but they haven't been getting those block shots. They haven't been getting out there and just giving it 110%. They're not as hungry as the Florida Panthers, and I do think Florida just playing at a different level. So Ryan Nugent Hopkins, not 100%. We did see Zach Hyman not make this series, and I think it's been a bigger impact than I would have expected. We've also seen Evander Kane really not playing at the level that I would have wanted out of him. Now, Evander Kane's been moved up to that 2nd line with Leon Draisaitl. There's so much movement out there. Jeff Skinner still, that 3rd line is the same. You got Skinner, Henrique, and Frederic on that third line. So no movement on that, but the other three lines, total movement out there. Now, Evan Bouchard, there's no denying what he can do from the blue line. He's firing that puck. You got Darnell Nurse on the second defensive pairing, and Jake Wallman. He got a set goal in 2 games ago. Wallman has been nicely playing out there, causing a disturbance out there for Florida. So Edmonton has been benefiting from what Wallman can do in the playoffs, but I just don't think it's enough, you guys. The top power play unit for the Edmonton Oilers, you got Corey Perry, Ryan Nugent Hopkins, who's not 100%, Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid, and Evan Bouchard. If you're looking for points tonight, these are the players I would circle. I would probably leave Ryan Nugent Hopkins. He didn't practice out of the lineup. That second power play unit, and no power plays were able to convert in the last game. So something to know. You got Skinner, Henrique, Evander Kane, Klingsberg, and Wallman. I do think Wallman will be impactful again, but I can't take a lot of props here on the Edmonton Oilers because you look at Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, you're going to have to lay so much juice if you think they're going to get on the board. Now, if they're going to win tonight, Connor McDavid has to freaking show up like he hasn't before in this series. And yes, he got a goal in the last game, but Connor McDavid needs to come out. He needs to get those goals. The problem is there's no value. Looking at Connor McDavid, you're getting him at plus 160 for an anytime goal, 2+ points at minus 104. I can't hit on that. I would rather look at the Corey Perrys. I'd rather look further down at Wallman, at Evan Bouchard, looking at those playmakers that still have been impactful in this series. Leon and Connor are just too highly priced for me. Corey Perry back on that top line with Connor McDavid. I do see his points coming in again. We know he was able to get a goal in the last one, and that veteran presence out there, understanding the pressure of the Stanley Cup Finals and being able to play through it, I think is huge here. Looking at a player like Corey Perry, and when we talk about that, you got to talk about on the other side, Brad Marchand. Now, Brad Marchand opened up the scoring in the last game, and then he opened up the third period with that goal. He's been elite. 10 goals now in the playoffs. I would look for Brad tonight to come out on fire. His anytime goal, we're still getting plus money for Brad Marchand, coming in at plus 230. And I quickly want to talk the Conn Smythe. I do think there's value here in Brad for the Conn Smythe. He's coming in at plus 410. If he is able to come out here, score the opening goal or the closing goal here and score that pivotal goal that really solidifies things for the Florida Panthers, I do think he has the ability to take the Conn Smythe from Sam Bennett. And there's no denying what Sam Bennett has been able to do. Sam Bennett has been electric in the playoffs. He's a minus 160 favorite, though, now to take the Conn Smythe, where Brad Marchand coming in at plus 410. I do think the value is there. Connor McDavid, it is so shocking to see plus 650 for Connor McDavid. Going into the series, you had to lay the juice on Connor McDavid. We know last year he was able to lose the Stanley Cup, but still be able to win the Conn Smythe. That's not going to happen this year. Connor McDavid just hasn't shown up enough in the playoffs thus far. And looking at him, he looks completely defeated. Watching that last game, it was just brutal to see. Connor McDavid, even after scoring that goal, knowing that game was said and done. So looking back at Game 5, where we saw things come in. Game number 5, we did see the Florida Panthers, of course, win that game 5-2. Edmonton back on home ice should have had, well, they had last change. They should have had a stronger performance out there. 1 goal out of Connor McDavid, 1 goal out of Corey Perry. I do like the scoring that we saw out of them. When Connor McDavid got that goal, it was absolutely gorgeous, but it wasn't enough. It was uninspired hockey by the Edmonton Oilers on their home ice. It looked like they were defeated after that first period where Florida went up 2-0. Like I said, Brad Marchand opened up the scoring. Sam Bennett had that second goal. We looked at a second period that was absolutely scoreless out of both of those teams. Defenses came to play. That third period, we saw Brad again get that first goal leading into the third, or in the third period. And then we saw Reinhart with a goal as well. It was a great performance out of them. We saw the empty netter for Florida adding up to that third goal, so 5 goals overall. So it was really strong. We saw no power play conversions, 0-2 for the Florida Panthers, 0-3 for the Edmonton Oilers. The physicality, Florida, 31 hits compared to 25 for the Edmonton Oilers. And those shots on goal, limited shots on goal for both of these teams. It was really shocking as defenses came to play. 19 shots on goal for the Florida Panthers and 21 shots on goal for the Edmonton Oilers. And I swear, going into that third period, it felt like they had 7 shots on goal. Don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but watching, I was blown away by what Florida was doing out there. So we know Bobrovsky will be in net tonight for the Florida Panthers. He has a .912 save percentage, and they will be, it looks like, going back to Stuart Skinner here. Skinner in the playoffs has an .891 save percentage, but Calvin Pickard is no better. Both of these goaltenders I don't have faith in, and the Edmonton Oilers must not have very much faith in them either. And while Calvin Pickard was really strong at being able to get those wins, again, he had to get that support by his forwards out there on the ice. They had to outscore. So how this series has played out, we did see the game 1 win by the Florida Panthers 4-3 in overtime. Game number 2, the Edmonton Oilers won in overtime 5-4. They won the next game, and then Florida was able to get it. Like, we've seen some big back and forth wins here for these teams, and I do think we see the steamroll. You look at Florida, they've won one game a 6-1. They've won another 5-2. So let's get into the bets straight up for the Florida Panthers other than those goal scorers, because I don't think you can go wrong with Verhaeghe. I love Verhaeghe tonight. I love Brad Marchand. I think both Sam Bennett, Sam Reinhart definitely have the ability to get those goals. And then I think Matthew Tkachuk still worth a look out there as well. So those big names for the Florida Panthers, I do think will come to life tonight. I'm not going to go far down the list. I think you look at the big names for Edmonton, go far down the list for value reasons if you want it. Because at -102 for 2+ points for Connor McDavid, not worth my money. Let's talk about Florida, how we're going to bet at -150. You guys know I won't touch that with a 10-foot pole. Florida's team total over 3.5 goals coming in at +100. Sign me up all day long. I do think they can get 4 goals. Skinner or Pickard, I think Florida is coming out. This offense will be firing on all cylinders. Now, will we have to sweat it? Absolutely. Nothing ever comes easy out here, especially in a game 6, as the defenses will look to lock down. Goaltending will look to play better, and you're going to see those players absolutely putting their bodies in front of that puck if you're the Edmonton Oilers as well as the Florida Panthers. So the over 3.5 goals at +100, I think it comes because of an empty netter. I also will take Florida laying the 1.5 at +152. I think they win this one 4-2. So they do cover that puck line. Big win here for the Florida Panthers. They hoist the cup tonight. So they have, this will be game 6. I think they win it by multiple goals for the 5th time at home this season in the playoffs. So looking for a big win here for the Florida Panthers. And I do think Edmonton, with their backs up against the wall, we're going to get the best out of them. But I think if Florida goes up quick, this team is going to feel that pressure. They're going to feel defeated. And while Connor McDavid has every ability to pull his team back, I think Florida is hungrier. I think Florida is a better team. And I wish I had a ticket on the Florida Panthers for the series going into this one. I thought Edmonton would have learned their lessons from last season. They really haven't. They're still making those mistakes out there on the ice. Florida is able to dominate that neutral zone. They are putting layers in that neutral zone. They're not allowing those breakaways by Connor McDavid that we've seen in so many series. And I can't deny what Edmonton's able to do, but when you see those big losses out of the Edmonton Oilers, you kind of wonder how they got here, but they did have solid performances, solid games. They just don't have the goaltending needed to defeat Bobrovsky and the Florida Panthers. This does come down to goaltending, and no disrespect to Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard, but Bobrovsky is at that next level. The Florida Panthers defensively are at a different level, and offensively, even though they don't have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, they have playmakers up and down all 4 of their lines. You look at the Florida Panthers, and Verhaeghe, Barkov, Reinhart, that is their top line. You got Rodriguez, Sam Bennett, Matthew Tkachuk. That is their second line. Everyone knows these names. These are playmakers that are household names out there. And yes, the Florida Panthers age is going to start catching up with them over the next couple of seasons. But I do think this team right now can get the repeat. We have Lundell on that third line, Brad Marchand on that third line as well. It's just absolute fire out here. Defense is firing, goaltending is firing, and offense is firing. So that's where my money is going. Let's just look at your comments here, you guys. The crowd is going to be absolute electric tonight. Now, Florida, we know, has had those struggles closing out these series. We saw it last season when they went up 3-0, and then Edmonton fought their way back, pushed it to game number 7, where Florida did close it out. But I do think this is going to be a different game out here. I think we go all the way. I think it's a bit of a joke. Yeah, you've got to decide between goaltenders in the Stanley Cup Finals. It is a joke. It really is. Edmonton's biggest struggle has always been their goaltending. So that is what we're seeing. Kev, happy Thursday to you as well. Irish King, let's make some freaking money tonight. You can't remember what game it was, but you cashed so heavy on the first period of puck line, the team total, and anytime goal. Thanks so much for your show. I'm running it back. Yeah, Irish King, it's got to be the Florida Panthers. And I would look at them. First period puck line, I think they come out, really silence the Edmonton crowd back in Edmonton, right? Like, because this is in Florida. You're going to see the watch parties in Edmonton. And we know Edmonton has every ability to push really hard in that third period. That's what we've seen in this series. If Edmonton goes down, they still, except for the 2 games, and you look at those 2 games, right? But looking at Florida first period. So let's just look at the odds on the Florida Panthers in the first period, because I did put bets in on that and I just totally blanked there. So first period for the Florida Panthers on the puck line, laying a half goal plus 154. I think it's just a fantastic way to go. Goaltending defense is an issue for Edmonton, and I really do think we're going to see the best out of the Florida Panthers. Now, if you want to take the Florida Panthers total goals, it's sitting at a half at minus 200. It is way too juiced. You could take the Florida Panthers over 1.5 goals in the first period, though. That's coming in at plus 255, and I do think it's a very solid way to go. You take out the equation. If Edmonton answers back, then they don't cover that puck line. If we got a 2-2, we've seen these teams play so fierce to that over. So we could see, Edmonton score in the first. I don't think so, though. I think Bobrovsky comes out, stands on his head. He wants to close this out tonight as well. This team does not want to travel back to Edmonton for game number 7, even though if they do, then I would be in attendance. So maybe that will influence them a little. Just joking, you guys. The over 1.5 goals in the first period for the Edmonton Oilers at plus 255 absolutely is a solid bet, as well as that puck line laying a half a goal at plus 154. I like those, half a unit on each of those for me in this one. Who do you think Barkov hands the cup to if they get the win tonight? Brad. I think Brad or Sam Bennett, Barkov will hand that puck to, or that trophy to, if they get the win tonight. You look at Brad and the impact he's been able to have. The teammates love him. You see them shooting the rats at him. He's a player that when he was on the other team, you see these players, when they play on different teams, you see that animosity between them, but you're not seeing it. They have accepted Brad Marchand, and they are where they're at because of him on the team as well. So I could see Brad getting it before Sam Bennett, but you've also got to look at Matthew Tkachuk. And Matthew Tkachuk has been such a huge role, even though I don't think he's at 100%. He hasn't really got everything going that we've seen this year, but I could see Brad getting it as well. So between Brad, Matthew, and Sam out there. You bet the Panthers plus 650, exact forecast to beat Edmonton in the conference final. I love it. I absolutely do. I'm so happy for you that you have that ticket at plus 650. I really fell victim to the fact that I thought Edmonton would learn something out there, that Connor McDavid would be playing at a different level this season, and that we would see more out of them. After they got past the LA Kings, they just seemed to get better and better each and every single game. The LA Kings really should have taken them out in the first round. There was some calls in that one where we could have been sitting here looking at a completely different Stanley Cup Finals, if so. But what can you do? I think we would have seen the Dallas Stars. So you took the Panthers puck line. Yeah, that's where we need to go. Puck line here for the Florida Panthers. Edmonton won't go down without a fight. So looking at that puck line because of the chance of empty netters, I think is the best way to go. And because of that, I'm not sticking to a total. I do like the first period. I do think Florida dominates. They give us enough goals to go over the 1.5 in the first period. But for the full game, defense should be locking down, but we know the empty netter. So I can't touch that total. Carolina and Dallas had no chance. in my boom. Okay. You nailed the over in every single game of these matches. Yeah, that over has been absolutely flying. This is a series where Edmonton has to score to give that support to their goaltender. And it's got to be hard on this team because if they had better goaltending, and I don't mean that on Skinner because and Pickard because they're not getting the defensive support in front of him either. So you can't blame it all on goaltending. I'm not going to fall for that narrative that it's all goaltending, but they have to do a better job at giving him the protection. Florida gives Bobrovsky that protection. They limit the shots. They do everything that is needed out there. Edmonton just doesn't. So you guys, let's do the recap and then send you on your way. Make sure you do join me on Game Time Decisions later today, 6:44 Eastern on Game Time Decisions with Kevin Walsh over on the grid. So give me the Florida Panthers laying a goal and a half at plus 152. 4-2 win here for this team. I'm expecting. Could it be a 5-2? Absolutely, it could. Give me Florida's team total over 3.5 goals at plus 100. Goal scorers. Give me Verhaeghe for an anytime goal at plus 220. Give me Brad Marchand for a goal at plus 230. Give me Sam Bennett, Sam Reinhart, and Matthew Tkachuk tonight for their points. I'll parlay them for their points. If you want the goals, you've got Bennett at plus 180, Reinhart at plus 180, and Matthew Tkachuk at plus 195. I think all of them have every ability to get on the board tonight. When we're looking at the Edmonton Oilers, yes, Connor McDavid needs to show up tonight. His points, it's just too juiced. 2+ points coming in at minus 104. Unbettable for me. He's only got 1 goal in this series, and we know Barkov has been shutting him down. They've been shutting him completely down through the neutral zone. If you want to bet Edmonton Oiler props tonight, I would look at Corey Perry, move back up to that top line. Ryan Nugent Hopkins isn't 100%, so Corey Perry is going to need that to get the assist from Connor McDavid and get that goal. I do think that has every ability with Ryan Nugent Hopkins not at 100%. I don't think he gets the goals. I think he facilitates tonight. So Corey Perry for the anytime goal. Evander Kane's been moved up to the second line as well with Leon Draisaitl. So Corey Perry and Evander Kane, their points combined, I would like as well. And I thought Jeff Skinner would be more impactful in the last game. Jeff Skinner on that third line, I would look at his point as well. Again, looking at anyone but Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, you're going to get value out there for the Edmonton Oilers, even though if Edmonton can extend this to game number 7, it's because Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl showed up huge. I just don't see it happening. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. Thank you so much here for joining me here for Puck It with Jo. I do think this will be our final Puck It with Jo until October 7th of this year when the regular season kicks back off in the NHL. And if it is, you guys, make sure you do stay tuned on SportsGrid, on SportsGrid TV, on X, as well as here on YouTube. For all of my picks, you'll be able to find the Madden Quickie over on the SportsGrid app. There's a Madden Quickie out today for my best bet on the SportsGrid app. And then stay tuned to SportsGrid, SportsGrid TV, X on X, as well as YouTube here for my Cup of Joes and my Let's Talk Some CFL. So the CFL has been treating us so good to start. We're going to look to keep rolling as we roll into week 3 here. So you will see a video Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays for all of my CFL bets, talking every single game in our Let's Talk CFL. So 4 games on deck this week. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for my Cup of Joes, for my MLB best bets, and then join me on the weekends with Scott Wetzel on In-Game Live on SportsGrid, on SportsGrid TV. So that is where you can catch me if this is our last episode of Puck It with Jo for this season, which I think it will be, guys. So I will miss you dearly doing this live show, but do stay tuned for all of those videos. I appreciate each and every single one of you so very much. And Jo can't wait for the Game 7 preview. Mo, good to see you here. So favorite player to score tonight, I've got to do Brad Marchand for the anytime goal and Verhaeghe. Those are my 2 top favorites there for the Florida Panthers to score. Little Rock Mafia Florida. Oiler wins tonight, goes with the Oilers home crowd. Panthers win there. I hope you're right. I really do. So if you're right, I'm going to be at Game 7 when the Florida Panthers hoist that cup, and that would be absolutely a beautiful moment to be at Game 7. Last year, I was at Game 6 because that was the last game in Edmonton. Couldn't get down to Florida for Game 7, but Joe Ranieri of SportsGrid will be at game number 6 tonight. If he doesn't get to see the cup hoisted, I will get to see it in game number 7. So it's kind of a win-win. You guys know I was rolling with Edmonton for the series at -118. So a little bit of a hedge bet as well, looking at Florida to hoist that cup on the puck line tonight there too. So you guys, all the best in all of your bets. We will do a recap show, maybe a recap show. I don't know. I'm going to miss you guys. So all the best in all of your bets. If you guys could hit that like, hit that subscribe button, I would so appreciate it. And yeah, I really hope I'm going to game 7. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. We'll see you back here. Hopefully not. Hopefully we're cashing tonight with Florida big time. But if we see you back here, then I'm going to game 7. So I'll probably release that video before that day. So you guys, all the best. We'll talk soon. Much love to each and every one of you. We'll talk then. Hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at +185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at -120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Pocket